Parents, students, staff members, as we approach the end of the school year, I want to say thank you to our retiring teachers, Mrs. Nancy Dietrick, Mrs. Jan Fetcho, and Mr. Tom Weinschenk. Each of you have touched the lives of so many in our school and in our community, and we are excited for your journey to continue after life at San Luis Obispo High School. We will miss you dearly. We will love to see you back each and every day when you have time, but we also want to make sure that you end on a positive from all of our students and staff. They have created a compilation of videos and memories for each of you. Thank you. We will miss you dearly. Good luck.
Hi, Tom. On behalf of the World Language Department, I want to extend to you our deepest gratitude and our congratulatory farewell. For 15 years, you and I had adjoining classrooms, and I was very happy to hear engaging Latin lessons. For a few minutes, you would join us for lunch in the English workroom before rushing back to your room to tutor students, prepare for Latin conventions, and organize toga parties. You played the guitar and sang lullabies and love songs. You spoke in Spanish to me, and I could not respond in Latin except to say perhaps alibi, carpe diem, quid pro quo, vaya con Dios. I will miss your impersonations, your humor, intellect, and your unconditional commitment to students' learning and well-being. Happy retirement.
In my teaching career, I have yet to meet a teacher more committed to his students and to his subject than Tom Weinschenk. Through both his traditional and innovative approach to learning, Tom's students not only acquire the language, but develop an understanding and appreciation of Roman history, geography, mythology, art, culture, and politics. Beyond the classroom experience, Tom's students see in him what it means to prepare diligently and to act ethically. Connecting with students of all abilities, tending to his 400 oak trees on the San Luis Obispo High School hillside, playing on his guitar Elvis Presley in Latin and Woody Guthrie in German, advocating for a better world for us all, Tom does so with integrity and humility. We shall not see the likes of Tom Weinschenk again. We who are about to Zoom salute you.
Hi, Tom. Happy retirement. I'm so proud of everything that you've accomplished, at least in my lifetime of knowing you as a student when I was at SLO High, as well as knowing you as my colleague and friend and fellow staff member in our World Languages Department. You've accomplished so much, not only for all of us as your colleagues and your friends, but most importantly, your students who are your family. And I've enjoyed my time with you over these years being our sub-department, our solo flyer within our main department. And I've learned so much from you and the way that you conduct yourself, conduct your class, research everything to the nth degree, and host JCL, and not only host, but win and become victorious. So enjoy retirement and all that it offers. Keep planting your trees behind SLO High and all over town, and let me know how I can help you in all of your endeavors. Lots of love.
Okay, so I'm up. Hi, Tom, my longtime colleague. We met in 1995 when I came on board at SLO High. Congratulations on your retirement. I have been in constant wonder of how you managed 7 preps when we had a 7-period day. And I know that you did it by running. You were constantly running, and I remember watching you. And it was just amazing what you did when you taught German and Latin and all the levels that you taught. And I was just constant amazement at your ability to handle that. And I'm just forever impressed. My kids have nothing but great things to say about you, my own children. And you are just, you're Mr. Weinschenk. And it's been a pleasure, a real pleasure to work with you. Happy retirement.
Yay.
Hey, Tom, congratulations. You've been a role model, you've been a mentor, you've been an inspiration, you've been a friend. You'll be missed by all. I always thought it was interesting. You always had time to talk to me and share your stories and share your wisdom. I hope that you enjoyed the next phase of your life. And I would hardly say retirement, because you are a mover and a shaker. You're always doing something. And I just want to say, you've been so helpful and thoughtful, and just really someone that made my coming on board at SLO High really enjoyable. And so I want to congratulate you, and I want to say that see you at the beach, Tom.
Tom, happy retirement. We're gonna miss you around, but we'll see you in town, and we wish you the best. Thank you for all you've done.
Thank you for an amazing 4 years of Latin, Mr. Weinschenk, and for the decades of teaching that you've given to SLO High. Your passion for the classics and for Latin is so evident in every day that you teach, and it's what makes the Latin community at SLO High such a special place to be a part of. The little traditions that you bring into the class and the games and the songs are what really makes learning Latin fun. And I know that all of your students, including me, are so appreciative of the effort and the creativity that you put into making the classics fun and engaging for students. So thank you for everything you've done.
Some of my fondest high school memories happened in Mr. Weinschenk's classroom. He is an incredible teacher, and his love of his subject is infectious, and it's impossible not to have a good time in his class, because he is probably the only person I know who can make Latin grammar fun.
Hey, Mr. Weinschenk, happy retirement. You were one of my favorite teachers. You always pushed me to go further, and you always supported me throughout theater and throughout Latin, and you even let me teach some Irish sometimes, which was really fun. And I'm gonna miss you a lot. Thanks for being a great teacher. Have a wonderful retirement, and tell Mrs. Weinschenk I said hi.
Mr. Weinschenk is one of my favorite teachers of all time. He brings this spirit and energy into the classroom that's just infectious, and he somehow miraculously found a way to make Latin fun for us. And he's also so understanding and kind and thoughtful and ecologically friendly. He's accepting of all students, no matter where they come from or who they are, and he makes everyone feel accepted in his classroom, even if they're not a Latin student. He creates an atmosphere in his class that you look forward to every day. Mr. Weinschenk, we are so sad that you're leaving. And us Latin 3 kids are so sad that we don't get to have you for AP, and we're sad that our younger siblings don't get to have you in the future. You're an amazing guy, and we're going to miss you like crazy.
My name is Kian Ramazani. I had Mr. Weinschenk from 2010 to 2013, so that was for Latin 1, Latin 2, and Latin 3. Throughout my time at SLO High, I will always remember Mr. Weinschenk for being an incredibly passionate, a very kind, and a very diligent professor. He got myself alongside so many other students passionate about Latin in the first place, which is something very rare and I think very admirable for a teacher in high school to do. Mr. Weinschenk has contributed a lot to both Latin and non-Latin events, and his time at SLO High was spent over the many last years, making a positive impact on people like myself, my brother, and so many other folks. I think one very memorable experience that we had with Mr. Weinschenk was recreating a Latin skit in Latin 2, where one of our friends ripped his shirt off in class and started to dance to I'm Sexy and I Know It while we made it rain fake Monopoly money on him. And Mr. Weinschenk looked at us in complete shock and awe. Mr. Weinschenk will be very much missed at SLO High. To be honest, I don't even know what SLO High will be like once he's gone, but I can assure you that the time that he spent there made it one of the best memories for so many people. In a lot of ways, what Mr. Weinschenk has done and the things that he's contributed have grown to be something much bigger than himself, and I will always love and respect him as one of the best professors I've had at SLO High. We love you, Mr. Weinschenk. Solway.
Hi, my name is Jahan Ramazani. I'm a senior. I'm in Mr. Weinschenk's AP Latin class. One of my favorite things about Mr. Weinschenk is to be Mr. Weinschenk himself. I think it's a good compliment in its own right. He's outgoing, he's really funny, he's one of the greatest teachers to talk to, and it's been an absolute joy to have him. Thank you, Mr. Weinschenk.
Hi, I'm Nina. I'm in Mr. Weinschenk's Latin 2 class, and I like Mr. Weinschenk because he allows me to be my weird self.
Hi, Mr. Weinschenk. It's me, Turbo, and I just wanted to tune in and thank you so much for being such an amazing teacher to me all throughout high school. Latin class and even Latin club were honestly like some of my favorite memories from high school. Like not even just like the Getty trips or JCL, which obviously was like so much fun and I enjoyed it so much, but even just like the everyday, like, you know, class to class things. Actually, I remember Latin was like my very like, you know, first period class in, you know, as a freshman, and I'm sitting there just terrified, but also genuinely excited to learn Latin. And thankfully that is something that I've kept with me throughout the years. And yeah, I mean, that's also the other thing, like, you know, through you and Latin, I have been able to meet so many amazing people. I'm a classics major now, so have kept up with the Latin, and I'm learning ancient Greek now, which is challenging, and Latin is still my favorite, but still lots of fun. And yeah, through classics, I've just been able to meet so many amazing people who, I love very dearly. And I just wanted to thank you for being a part of that and for introducing me to a field that I truly love so much. I remember on that little information sheet that you would give us, talking about, you know, pursuing a career in the classics. I didn't really ever think I would do it, but I honestly might. Like, I truly, love the classics so much, and it's just such an amazingly unique field. And you're just such an amazingly unique teacher in person, and I'm so glad that I was lucky enough to be in your class.
Hello, Mr. Weinschenk. Thank you for the 4 years, and thank you for making Latin so appealing and giving me an opportunity to learn something that I probably wouldn't be interested in otherwise. And thank you for making it so fun and letting me discover that Virgil is a good writer.
Hi, I'm Olivia Dong, and I had Mr. Weinschenk for AP Latin this year. Mr. Weinschenk is without a doubt one of the best teachers I've had so far. He puts so much time and care and effort into what he does, but also into how he interacts with us. He never failed to ask us how we were doing, and he also made sure to make class fun. Latin could be really difficult sometimes, so Gamesific Hobbit and German rave competitions made all the difference. And for me, having a teacher like Mr. Weinschenk made all the difference. So thank you, Mr. Weinschenk, for all you've done for me and everyone else.
Salve, it's Kirta. I just wanted to thank you so much, Mr. Weinschenk, for an amazing 3.5, basically 4 years of Latin. I've just so enjoyed being in your class. You made me smile every single day, and you just really made me feel comfortable at school, and you helped fuel my passions of learning. I'm right now reading another version of the Aeneid. I fell in love with the Latin language and the culture so much more having taken your class, and I have such a great appreciation for the language and a foundation moving forward for medicine or just really any career I end up doing. So I really thank you so much for all of your encouragement and just your help over these years. We're gonna miss you so much. Thank you.
Taking your classes and participating in your clubs was the pinnacle of my high school learning experience. Thank you for believing in me, for believing that we were worth the effort. Thank you for waking up at 3 a.m. to drive us to robotics meets, and for staying late after school, even when it wasn't required of you. I hope to one day have an impact as lasting as the one that you had on all of your students.
Hey, Ms. Fetcho, I just want to say thank you for teaching the computer sciences classes that I've taken, for being there at Skills USA, and finally for taking some of your own time to advise the robotics club. You've done everything that a student can ask for, so from the bottom of my heart, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Fetcho, for all the years you've dedicated to teaching students at the high school as well as serving the community. And thank you for being so helpful in the clubs and taking so much of your free time to help us grow our interests and abilities. Robotics, computers, engineering. Thank you for help in all of those areas. I will always aspire to have the impact you've had on this community and all the good you've done for us. Thank you.
Hi, Jan. Just wanted to take a moment to say congratulations on your retirement and for all the amazing work that you've done with our students at San Luis Obispo High School. I have a lot of your kids in my classes and they love what they do. They're competent, they're technically skilled, and that's a big tribute to the work that you've done with them. Thanks again for handing off the information for Skills USA. I'll do my best to follow in your footsteps and keep it going strong at Slow High. Congratulations and enjoy your time off. Bye.
Mrs. Jan Fetcho, this is Ryan Ritchie. I'm hoping to congratulate you in person someday, but I wanted to let you know just how much having you as a teacher meant to me. For me, high school was really great, and a lot of that was because of you. My friends and I always could be ourselves in your classroom. You encouraged that, and we always had a safe place to be, to eat lunch, to work on computers, and us indoor kids always felt safe at school thanks to you. And I know a lot of your students over the years have felt the same way. I can only guess how many you've had over the years. When you coached us in the academic decathlon, that was a huge part of my life. It really challenged us in a really good way, and it really brought out a lot of things in us, helped me overcome my shyness and a lot of other things. And so I'm really, really grateful to you. And I can only imagine now as a teacher how much of a commitment all of those activities, robotics, academic decathlon, all of the other things that you've been in, tech club, have been. And I know we will miss you, and all your kids will miss you, but you've earned this, and I hope you enjoy retirement, and I hope to see you around soon.
Thank you, Ms. Fetcho, for being such an amazing engineering club advisor. You've helped the club so much over the last 3 years and really made me understand what it means to be an officer of a club. We're going to miss you so much next year.
I want to say thank you to Mrs. Fetcho for the work that she has done. I have the privilege of being her student since my freshman year, and I had learned so much from her. She had gone out of her way to help me multiple times, and I really appreciate it. I want to say thank you again for your hard work and dedication.
Mrs. Fetcho, I wanted to say that I'm so grateful for everything that you've done for me. During my 4 years at Slow High, you've completely changed my life. You've introduced me to the wonderful realm of technology, and I'm so grateful for how generous you've been, giving so much of your time and your personal life and passing on wisdom to me. Thank you for everything you've done. You've made my 4 years magnificent, amazing, and I couldn't imagine them without you at high school.
See? All look at those. Don't set the A. Well. I didn't say the teacher to A. I said the teacher to throw it. Oh!
Thank you, Miss Fetcho. High school really couldn't have been the same without you. You were my favorite teacher the whole time. I'll miss you a lot.
I want to thank Mrs. Fetcho for being such a great teacher. I've only had her for 2 years, but I can still tell that she truly, truly cares about our learning experience and helping us learn to the best of our abilities. So, thank you, Mrs. Fetcho.
Mrs. Fetcho, thank you so much for everything that you've done for this school and for all your students. My high school experience wouldn't have been the same without you. I hope you enjoy your retirement, and thank you again so much for everything that you've done.
Hi, Mrs. Fetcho. I just want to say hi and thank you for everything you've done. Your class and being with you was some of the best time I had during my 4 years at Slow High, and you have been such a huge influence on my life. You were not just an amazing teacher, but a mentor and a supporter for me and so many other people in and outside and everywhere around the classroom. Thank you for everything you've done and for all of your service. You are really the kind of teacher that they make movies about. You're the best kind of teacher. Thank you for everything, and I hope you have a very happy retirement.
Thank you for everything you have done. I hope I'll be able to see you again. Bye.
Thank you for everything, Fetcho. Goodbye.
We all wish nothing but the best for you and your family.
Dear Nancy, I just want you to know how appreciated you are, and you will be so missed. I know I will really miss being able to hide out in your room just to take a break from everything, and then watching you teach just gave me such joy and relief, and I know that's just how the students so enjoyed you because of that. It helped me out as well, so thank you for your excellent teaching. I'll miss listening to your endearing and hilarious stories. You tell the best stories. I will so miss that. And I know this is the reason why students enjoy you so much. So I want to thank you for that. And I know I will miss being able to do that. You know, you and I have been through a lot together, and you know what those things are. We've been through a lot, and I'll just miss being able to walk across the hallway or across the campus to come see you, just for chat for a few seconds, and I would become uplifted just to talk to you, and I will truly miss that. But I know you're a phone call away, and I'm proud of you, and I wish you peace and relaxation that you so deserve, and you've earned it. So you are the best of the best, Nancy, and I will miss you, and the kids will miss you, and our staff will miss you. So enjoy your retirement. Sweet, sweet Laurene. You know, I can't believe you're retiring. You're going to be so missed. But I want to thank you for that you have given your heart to these kids and to our staff. And I want you to know that I really appreciate the fact that you believed in me. You trusted me in everything. As a teacher, as an administrator, and I so appreciate it, and especially the love that you had given our students. You made a difference in their lives, and I appreciate it. I know the students do, and our staff does. So you'll always be special to me, and I thank you for being you. Enjoy your family and enjoy your retirement that you so have deserve and have earned.
Laurene and Nancy, it's such an honor to have worked the small amount I worked with you, but what incredible people you are, and how much you give to others astounds me. You are my inspirations. I wish that I were half the educator that both of you are. You are compassionate, you're understanding, you're patient, you're kind and caring. All of the qualities that I hope that I can be. And both of your reputations precede you, because before I even came to San Luis High School, I remember hearing about both of you and what incredible teachers you are. And I just want to say thank you. I'm honored to have worked at the same school and been with you both. Thank you. You're amazing. Enjoy that retirement. One of these days, maybe I'll join you. I hope so. Nancy, you live close by. Invite me to go swimming. And Laurene, let's go on a hike, okay? We got to do that. Thanks. Bye, ladies.
And Laurene, it will be a different place when you are not here to guide us every day, to offer us grace and inspiration. I don't know what we're going to do without you, except we're going to call you and bug you endlessly, and maybe give students your addresses so they can catch up with you too. We love you guys. You will always, always be tigers. Never forget us. We will be suffering every day until we get to retire with you. We love you guys. Couldn't ever do any of it without you. Wouldn't want to.
Hey, Mrs. Dietrick, Mrs. K, congratulations on your retirement. I can't think of any two educators who deserve it more. You guys undoubtedly have made San Luis High, the special ed department, one of the greatest places to work. I get inspiration just by being in your proximity, and I'm just so happy for you two. So congratulations.
Hey, Miss Dietrick. Thank you for helping me with all your work. And Miss K, thank you for helping me with my work too. Thanks.
Hey, Miss Dietrick, I just wanted to tell you that you're one of my favorite teachers, and I appreciate everything you do for me. And yeah, that's pretty much all I want to say.
Hi, Nancy and Laurene. Congratulations. You made it to the very end. I can't believe it. I'm sure you're both still kind of in shock and emotional turmoil about the whole thing. Come August and September, you'll be twiddling your thumbs, wondering what to do. You can always come back. You know you can. Please come on back. Nancy, you've been an amazing department head for me. So supportive, so helpful. In fact, I don't even recall who was before you. I don't even think we were really part of the team at all back then for SDC. So way to go. It's really been a huge, wonderful experience. Laurene, I'll never forget the first day of school, actually second day of school this year. And you were assigned to my class as a para. And you met me in the hallway. It must have been like 8:30 during first period. And you're like, Kathy, I'm not too sure about this. I said, no, Laurene, this was a mistake. No big deal, but we'd love to have you. So anyway, way to go. Congratulations.
Hi, Nancy and Laurene. I just wanted to say that I will miss you so much. It's been wonderful to work with you and get to know both of you. The love and care and support that you've given to not only the students, but the staff, just means the world to everybody. And we will miss you so much. And I hope we can get together and celebrate when this is all over. Have a big party for everybody.
Hi, girls. You are going to absolutely love the next chapter of your life, really. I'm so happy for you, and I loved working with you and having you as friends in the years past, and hopefully we can rekindle that when you're retired. You guys have made such a difference in so many students' lives because they know you really cared about them. Your kindness and compassion will follow these kids for the rest of their lives. So well done. Big hugs.
We love you.
Love you.
Hi, Nancy. I wanted to say congratulations on your retirement. I know you're looking forward to traveling with the girls, but gosh, I can think of many things to say. First of all, you're the consummate teacher, and what a joy it's been my learning math from you, actually, and enjoying that now. But that bell would ring. Let's get started, you say. That's the bell. Here we go. You would vary your teaching, which was awesome. Every day was different. So that really helped with the learning of the students. Another thing is just your professionalism with students and staff. You always were the consummate professional as well. But I think the most important thing to me that that above academics, above everything else, you were so generous with your time to the students. I don't know how many times a student would come in at lunch and say they needed help with something, whether it was something with a class or with their family or a letter of recommendation, something such as that, and you would turn from what you were doing, make eye contact, and you were there for them. And that happened many, 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 many times. So I love you. Bon voyage. It's time for you to enjoy some time with Tommy and the girls. So love you.
Hi, Nancy and Laurene. I just want to wish you the very, very best in your retirement. I'm going to say it in Irish, so Cogordichas, agus Gonairi and Paula. And hope you have a wonderful retirement. It has been a pleasure working with you the last few years and getting to know you. And best of luck. Bye.
Hi, Nancy and Laurene. It's really hard to do this. I already heard quite a few people and their goodbyes, and it seems like everybody has said all the things I wanted to say, but I'm really, really going to miss you guys, and I feel myself getting choked up thinking about it. But anyway, I'm super happy for you. I can't imagine what our day is going to be like without you two every day, and just the sweetness that you guys have and the generosity with your time, and just nothing was too small for you to talk about or to help us and the kids with. So I just appreciated both of you so much. And Nancy, I look forward to what you said you were going to do this fall and work to help me with the testing. If we are back in school, we'll see. But anyways, I look forward to that. But I'm super happy for you guys. I'm super grateful for your friendship, and I know that we'll get together in the future, and we'll have a lot of fun and gonna laugh about all this, and know that the best is yet to come for you guys. So I'm really wanting to congratulate you and thank you all at the same time. So thank you both. I miss you and love you both. Bye-bye.
Hello, Nancy and Laurene. I can't imagine what high school is going to be like without you guys. You've been there for longer than me, and I've always been there. You guys are amazing. You are the consummate special ed teachers and support. And yeah, I know. I can't think of all of the times that you guys have been there for me and how much I appreciate it. And I know that not just for me, but for everybody there and all of the students. You guys were just always available. And I took some notes earlier when Laurene was talking, and she talked about how you were, Nancy, how you were always there for the students whenever they came in. And I couldn't help but think that that was exactly one of the things that I wanted to say about Laurene as well, because I know how many hours she spent after the day was done working with students, trying to help them with their scholarship applications and all of the things that you did, Laurene, to help the students. And I just really want to thank you for all the support that you've given all of us throughout the time that you've been there. Thank you so much for all of your help and support and being there for the kids. I hope that I can be as good a teacher as you guys. Thank you.
Nancy and Laurene, I have been so thankful to have met you guys in kind of the middle of my career, and I'm so grateful that I'm so grateful that I met you guys. The patience and the dedication that you showed, not only to every single student that came through, but also to me as I was learning the ropes and making mistakes and all of that kind of stuff that I was going through. You both have just been 100% supportive, and I wish that I would have met you years and years ago. So I feel a tremendous sense of loss to not continue to have you two to kind of bounce ideas off of and all of that kind of thing. And I'll try not to get too choked up here, but I'll definitely miss you. And Nancy, I hope to see you lurking at 310, because I'm kind of counting on that to continue our conversations.
Nancy and Laurene, what a joy it has been to work alongside you and to watch you two interact with the students and with staff. I am honored to be able to step in where you are stepping out, and I hope that I can, fill at least part of the shoes that you have left for us. You two are just such an inspiration, and your connection with the students, I think, is one of the things that I'm going to carry with me throughout my teaching career, and remembering that it is about the students and meeting them where they are. And I encourage you both in your retirement to, enjoy your new life, and to, as my parents say, instead of retire, they are retreading and finding new ways to give back and give in and discover and grow as you have so many more adventures ahead of you. And I look forward to you popping in on us and making sure that we are all dotting our I's and crossing our T's, and I'm smiling throughout the way, and you will be dearly, dearly missed daily. We love you.
Dear Ms. Dietrick, dear Ms. Carey, I wish you a happy retirement. Hope you have a great day. Just enjoy life and keep doing what you do best.
Hi Nancy, I just want to say thank you for all your help in math and your transparency with the kids and how open you are with them and willing to have everyone come in at lunch and get extra help. It's been a lot of fun being in your class. And to Laurene, I just want to say good luck in your retirement. I hope to see you one day with a braid down your back and meet on a hiking trail maybe. And awesome, and you always go the extra mile, and we will miss you.
Every year, the senior class selects a staff speaker. This year, the seniors chose Blake Bristol, who will be joined by Aaron O'Neill.
Hello, class of 2020. I first wanted to recognize and thank Mr. Stewart, Senior Class Advisor, Mr. Johnson, ASB Advisor, Mr. Roper and Mr. Heimerdinger for the production side of things, Mr. O'Connor, Principal at San Luis Obispo High School, but especially Henry Seaborn, Sydney Frost, and Joe Mack, the Senior Class Officers. You graduates should all find a way to thank your parents, family, friends, and teachers who have made graduation possible. I am forever grateful for my wonderful wife, Terry, and our kids, Caleb and Emily. But also, thank you, class of 2020, for the honor of selecting me to be your speaker at what I hope is the only virtual senior showcase that SLO High will ever have. I am so incredibly grateful for this opportunity. But having been a staff teacher as long as I have, I fully realize that there may have been only one vote and that person accidentally picked me, thinking that I was Mr. Ross or Miss Holly, Mr. Simon, or really anybody else. I figured after having almost 200 of you at some point in the last 4 years that you would have heard enough from me. But somehow, enough of you have asked for one more speech, one more chance for me to pour into you a little, one more opportunity for me to give you some advice as you head out of high school and into the next phase of your life. And so I am glad to impart a few more thoughts on you. But just remember, you asked a math teacher to write a speech. Now for many of you, the next phase of life is college. For some, your next phase is the workforce. And for a select few, your next phase is serving our country in the armed forces. Thank you in advance for your service. But regardless of where you are going, I can guarantee one thing. It won't be going back to slow high as a high schooler. Those days are officially gone. Congratulations. Though a few of you still have some items to return, and I know a couple of you still have finals from second trimester to take. You know who you are. Thank you, COVID, for making it possible to graduate. As you head off into the world wearing a face mask and maintaining a socially acceptable distance between you and others, remember that the face mask isn't permanent and the distances will gradually decrease. All of us, to some extent, have been living with the face mask on for years, and all of us at times have been living socially distant from people while sitting right next to them. So one piece of advice that I have for you in this next phase is to stretch yourself a little bit. Do something you've been afraid to do. Talk to a person you would have been afraid to approach. Start a new hobby. Get out of your comfort zone. If you stay inside your comfort zone, it's hard to grow as a person. I was recently interviewed by 2 former students of mine who graduated in 2015 for a podcast they've created. It's called Slow Pod. I told them that I'd help advertise when I had a chance, and I'm also hoping for some royalties to come my way. But I did the podcast to help out since they had asked. I'd love to help former and current students when possible. But I also said yes to stretch myself out of my comfort zone. And what I found is that it moved me from one comfort zone into another. I really enjoyed the experience, and I would have never known without trying. This quiet, shy, and introverted 50-year-old actually enjoys being in the spotlight sometimes. Now, I can't say the same thing about enjoying broccoli or doing public speaking. Doing this tonight, it's still out of my comfort zone. But at least there's no audience. It's just me and a camera. And there's a few other people in the room. And I've actually gotten used to talking to a camera as an online teacher these past 2.5 months, though I would rather there be an audience and people here. I miss people. Another piece of Bristol advice is when life gets you down, remember that you've been there before and you've always been able to get out of there. You have learned the skills needed to get yourself back to a safe and stable space, and you have a huge support system of people who care about you and are willing to help you, talk with you, listen to you, and to give you ideas to think about or tell you what to do. You've never been alone, and you'll never be alone because of this support team you have. Imagine that when you find yourself lost, lonely, or confused, like you're in a dark tunnel and can't see, you'll need to find a way to get out of that dark tunnel. But since you can't see, you'll need some help. You'll need to have someone shine a light for you. Your team can light the way for you. And remember, you are on someone else's support team. So if you light the way for them, it will also brighten your path. Now, like any good teacher, I stole that last quote from author unknown. Now, the circumstances of this year and some things that have happened to me personally, some of you individually and all of us as a whole have been difficult. But for me, the people that I have on my team, which includes my family, my students, and especially any of you that I've messaged on Instagram over and over these past 2 months, you have made this year so much better. I decided that for this next section, I wanted to give you a picture of what I'm talking about. That as I talk, I've asked someone in my support team to illustrate what it is that I'm trying to describe to you so that you can see 2 things happen. Number 1, you'll see that I can't do the speech alone. And number 2, you'll be able to see what it is that I'm trying to say. Now, I want you to imagine that you're so close to a wall. And the wall is a metaphor for any problem in your life. I mean, you're really, really close to the wall. like your eyes are basically touching the wall. You're staring at the wall and thinking, how am I ever going to get over this wall? You know, the problem in your life. You can't see how big that wall is. It could be a 6-foot wall, or it could be a 600-foot wall. Now, without stepping back to see how big the problem really is, you'll never know how to tackle the problem. So you decide to take a tiny step back, but you still can't tell for sure how big the wall is. You think you can see the top of the wall, and maybe all you'll need is a ladder, or maybe some sort of hydraulic lift, or maybe an elevator. But it is still not easy to tell how you're going to overcome this wall. I know, because I've been there before, and I had a choice to make. Do I give up, or do I try to find a solution? Now, you decide to step even further back so that you can see for sure how big that wall is. The problem with this is that if you keep stepping back, you'll be so far away from the wall that you may just decide to leave the wall and find another way to go. Now, it's true that you'll have a better idea of how to tackle the problem, but so much time has been spent moving away from the problem, and you're so far away from the problem that you'll have to retrace your steps to get back to the wall to get over it. Or maybe, since you were so far away, that you just give up and you never overcome the problem. Now, imagine that you're back at the wall, really, really close, like so close that your eyes are basically touching the wall and you can't see how tall it is. But this time, you have someone on your support team who's looking at the wall from a different perspective. And that person just tells you, put your hands up, grab the top of the wall. The top of the wall is just above you. All you need to do is grab the top of the wall. Pull yourself up, come on, you can do it, as they yell from afar. Now, your friend has a better idea. As they stand next to you, they offer you their knee and a hand. I'm right here. Let me help you. I've got you. There's no need to worry. I won't let you fall. You know, sometimes, usually, someone else can help you find a solution to a problem if you can't find it yourself. Lean on your friends and loved ones. Try not to do life alone. And I'd like to give a very special thanks to Aaron O'Neill for being my illustrator for this talk. And lastly, as I was talking to Braden and Emerson the other day on their podcast, Slow Pod, they asked about personalities of different graduating classes. I think your class of 2020 and their class of 2015 had some similarities. Both of you are hardworking and determined. The class of 2015 knew that they would achieve their goals. They just didn't really need to have their goals in mind as they were working hard. They knew that their hard work would get them somewhere, and no matter where they ended up, they would find a way to make a difference, just like you guys. That class, it was also very social and knew how to lean on their friends. Class of 2020. I have asked several of your teachers and 5 fantastic students of mine what your class's personality will be remembered as, and we came up with the following ideas. You guys will be remembered, according to myself, Gabby Schroeder, and Paige Lund, as supportive, kind, and caring. Mr. Jim Johnson, Miss Holly, and Gabby describe you as the class that was spirited, enthusiastic, full of energy. Mr. Liebrick and Lauren Ramirez describe you as a class of perseverance and ambition. Mr. Ross, Miss Benson agree with Lauren, Aaron O'Neill, and Bella Garatano that this class is personable and thoughtful, underneath your face mask of tough and rough. Mr. Ross and Lauren feel that your class is creative. And I know that Mr. Ross would be a little bummed if I didn't mention that he feels many of you are just a little bit sassy. And I agree, and we both like that about you. Miss Badal, Miss Benson, and Mrs. Miller all see you as resilient. Remember the end of the year picnic at Laguna? Yeah, you got through that and Corona. Other words that the teachers used were generous, understanding, concerned, selfless, empathetic, historically significant, and a class full of intellectual curiosity. Other words the students used were realistic, goofy, easygoing, driven, collaborative, and competitive. For me, you're all of those things. And you will always be the class that has brought me joy. Thanks again so much for asking me to talk tonight. I love you all. I miss you all. Take care.
Now let's hear from the valedictorian,
the salutatorian of the class of 2020.
Hello, friends, peers, teachers, and families. We hope you're all doing well through this global pandemic. And at the risk of understating things, it's been quite a year for all of us. We've decided to deliver the speeches to you on the Zoom platform as it feels representative of our current situation, given how much work us as students have had to do on Zoom throughout the end of the year. Instead of the typical graduation speech, we wanted to take the time to remind you of all of the years of high school throughout our 4-year journey. On the first day of freshman year, it marked the commencement of the beginning of our journey through high school, as we stepped onto the campus for the first time that we would learn to love over the next couple years. However, at this point, everything seems new and foreign as we walked through new buildings, classes, and hallways, as well as a completely new staff. We were no longer the oldest people on the campus, which was made blatantly evident as we skirted around the older upperclassmen in the halls. It was almost as if a magic reset button had been hit and school had started all over again. And yet, as a class, we took this challenge head on. Now, that's not to say we didn't make any mistakes. No one had a flawless freshman year, whether they ended up falling on the slippery red stairs or getting lost on their way to class. But the important thing was that as a class, we were able to learn from these missteps as we adapted to this new set of circumstances. These adjustments in our new routines taught us things that will be useful for the rest of our lives, such as time management skills. However, an equal number of these adaptations would become transient parts of our life, such as the fastest way to Mr. Johnson's room from the main quad. And yet the most impressive fact of our freshman year was that we were not only learning to adapt to new circumstances, but simultaneously we were learning as scholars and students each and every day. There was a lot to be dealt with, perhaps more than many have ever had to deal with, and yet we persevered and were not only able to endure the changes, but to come out thriving and more prepared for what was next than we had ever been before. And when overcoming these new obstacles, regardless of how large or small, there was one constant that persisted, not only throughout the whole year, but throughout the rest of our high school journey. We always had each other to lean on. Whether it was continued friendships from previous years of schooling or new friends from new places, there was always someone you could talk to if needed. A reminder that everyone was in it together. A reminder that no one was alone in facing the challenge of going to high school. A reminder that everyone was just as clueless as you were. This bond, despite our physical separation currently, is something that will persist throughout the rest of our lives. Even as we're spread far and wide at college next year, and for our lives after that, we will always be part of the class of 2020. And freshman year was a year of new opportunities and responsibilities, and our class took it in full stride. And it was with that attitude that the athletes, musicians, ag students, artists, scholars, and everything in between all united to take on sophomore year, which will be introduced by the Salutatorian, Julian Ahlstrom.
Sophomore year came upon us surprisingly quickly. I remember asking myself that first day back at school, where did freshman year disappear to? We did so much that first year and now it's just gone. It was surreal. Getting to school early morning, just like last year, sitting at the same desk we sat at last year. But then there's this good thing about it all. We're no longer the young ones in school. We're no longer the scared freshmen intimidated by the upperclassmen walking by. Instead, with the advent of sophomore year, we'd somehow graduated to become one of them. We'd earned the right to try on the upperclassman suit, a sense of belonging that felt comforting. And then, of course, being back at school that first day, we reconnected with our friends from freshman year. It was much easier to start the year with, "Hey man, is that you? What's with that beard?" So this time around, there wasn't as much of a worry about sitting alone with no one to talk to. Sophomore year, we also knew the lay of the land. Heading off to math class, I wasn't disoriented, like I accidentally walked into the wrong classroom. I knew my way around. Sophomore year, in truth, was the year where we caught the first glimpse that college was not all that far away. AP classes added to expectations on us, not sleeping as much any longer. Still, that didn't stop us from rushing off to Splash Cafe or Frank's, flying back to class with a few seconds to spare. Sophomore year took us zooming off into the horizon while sampling different eating places at lunchtime, joining clubs and growing friendships while sleep continued to dwindle. When we signed up for weird acronyms like pre-SAT and pre-ACT college tests, it wasn't all that real to us at first. Suddenly, though, doomsday arrived and reality struck, and for some of us, it struck hard. I know for myself, the very first practice test hit me hard. I realized I needed to step things up. That was, though, nothing compared to what was to come, the real tests. But we got through those pre-college tests and all those AP tests and whatever other hurdles as sophomore year kept swooshing forward toward that horizon in the month of June. We played our sports, went to our school clubs, learned how to drive, and we played in Jesky's band as we neared the magical month of June. And then another new awareness dawned in our sophomore minds. We began telling ourselves, next year we'll be juniors. We'd be the real upperclassmen then, the real deal. And so the story we tell ourselves just keeps on repeating itself. And now we'll have Valedictorian Lulu Dai talk about junior year.
Before we knew it, we were juniors. The year started out hopeful after a refreshing summer and with the knowledge that we were upperclassmen. We had settled into high school and were confident to take on the new year. We weren't yet seniors doing college applications, but we had the freedom that came with being older. Many of us were taking several AP classes and balancing the workload with extracurriculars and sports. Junior year was truly a test of our academic perseverance and time management. With the thought of college applications in the back of our minds, we took the PSAT in the fall, SATs and ACTs throughout the year, and AP tests in May. We scrambled between classes, barely hanging on to our wits between assignments and projects. We volunteered, played instruments, made art, exercised, and danced. And although maybe we didn't spend as much time with our friends as we wanted, the struggle of school united us. We furiously texted each other before tests, drove to coffee shops to study with each other, reviewed during nutrition break, shared notes, and rose to the challenge together. The support of our friends and teachers will forever be appreciated. And I'm thankful for the memories we made in our limited time. We ate lunch together, shopped, went to theater shows, hiked, laughed, cried, and celebrated. We went to our first and maybe last prom. We cheered at rallies and excitedly talked about college. And most importantly, we learned to make memories out of shared stresses and worries. We always had the feeling of solidarity and community that was our class. We learned our own strengths and weaknesses throughout the year and found the determination to achieve our goals. And with this attitude, we headed into senior year, which will be introduced by Salutatorian Addie Newschmidt.
And then we reached senior year, and we thought that the worst was behind us. We'd gotten through the AP tests and the SATs and the ACTs and the subject tests and everything else. We were ready to just relax and enjoy our last year of high school. Until college applications started, at which point we realized that this was actually the hardest part of high school because now we were busy managing requesting letters of rec and writing essays and listing our extracurriculars, all while managing our course load. But we got through it. And then the senioritis started to kick in. There didn't really seem a point in accomplishing anything because there was nothing left to accomplish things for. There was nothing we were looking forward to except the ditch days and the weekends and third trimester where we could finally take easy courses and just lay back and relax. We started to hear back from colleges. We got into schools and we got rejected. We had to learn how to remind ourselves that we were still worthy, even if some colleges didn't seem to agree. And then we had to choose. We had to figure out how exactly we wanted to spend the next 4 years of our life, whether it was picking a school or entering the military or finding a job. And right in the midst of that decision, school shut down. We left on a Friday and some of us were happy we'd get a little vacation and some of us were worried that this might be a part of something bigger. But regardless of how we felt initially, we eventually had to confront the reality that we weren't coming back. that our senior year graduation was turning into a drive-through, our senior showcase was going to be pre-recorded videos, and our graduation speeches would be delivered via Zoom. We had to deal with assignments on Google Classroom and Zoom meetings and FaceTiming with friends, and finally using all that social media we're on to actually maintain social connections. We had to accept that our last day on campus was one we don't remember very well, that we won't ever sprint out from fifth period again to race to the parking lot and beat the traffic. We won't ever race up the stairs after going off campus at lunch to try and avoid a tardy. We won't go to another rally and win the weirdest games we've ever played. We won't have Mr. O'Connor say good morning to us using our first and last name in a way that's really friendly, but still slightly intimidating. We won't run into teachers and friends in hallways and form those weird little pseudo-friendships with the people you sit next to in class each new trimester. We won't get to lay out in the grass at the quad at lunch or sit in cars with our friends. And it's been really hard these past few months to accept that. I don't want to gloss over that with some cliche sayings that we'll get out of this stronger or this will only make us remember our senior year even more. It's been really hard. As wonderful as it is to see our community and school come together and to see the creative ways the administration has found to recognize and celebrate us, it's not the same as what we were all expecting. And it's okay to acknowledge that. But there's a Shel Silverstein poem that I came across when I was trying to figure out what to say, and it's called Happy Endings. He says, "There are no happy endings. Endings are the saddest part. So just give me a happy middle and a very happy start." These past few months have been the opposite of a happy ending. They've been messy and sad and infuriating and anticlimactic and a whole dozen other adjectives we could all list off. But don't let them overshadow the rest of our time in high school. Don't allow this brief awfulness to make you forget the 30 months that we had before this. Don't forget the memories you made with friends and the time in class with teachers and all of the great experiences you had. Even in the hard times, it's out of those stresses that our community as a class formed. Better than anyone, high schoolers know how to find joy and make memories out of the daily stresses of high school. This may not be the happy ending that we wanted, but I think most of us can find happiness in the middle and in the start. So in lieu of giving you all advice, because I think we're all a little sick of that, and in order to indulge the nostalgia I think we're all feeling for when we were in elementary school and didn't have to worry about anything, we're gonna take a trip back and do a little story time. So we're gonna read Oh, the Places You'll Go by Dr. Seuss.
Oh, the Places You'll Go by Dr. Seuss. Congratulations, today is your day. You're off to great places, you're off and away. You have brains in your head, you have feet in your shoes. You can steer yourself any direction you choose. You're on your own, and you know what you know, and you are the guy who will decide where to go.
You'll look up and down streets, look 'em over with care. About some you will say, I don't choose to go there. With your head full of brains and your shoes full of feet, you're too smart to go down any not so good street.
And you may not find any you want to go down. In that case, of course, you'll head straight out of town.
It's opener there in the wide open air. Out there things can happen and frequently do to people as brainy and footsy as you.
And when things start to happen, don't worry, don't stew. Just go right along, you'll start happening too.
Oh, the places you'll go. You'll be on your way up, you'll be seeing great sights. You'll join the high flyers who soared to high heights.
You won't lag behind because you'll have the speed. You'll pass the whole gang and you'll soon take the lead. Wherever you fly, you'll be the best of the best. Wherever you go, you will top all the rest. Except when you don't, because sometimes you won't.
I'm sorry to say, but sadly it's true. The bang-ups and hang-ups can happen to you. You can get all hung up in a prickly perch, and your gang will fly on, you'll be left in a lurch. You'll come down from the lurch with an unpleasant bump, and the chances are then that you'll be in a slump.
And when you're in a slump, you're not in for much fun. Unslumping yourself is not easily done. You will come to a place where the streets are not marked. Some windows are lighted, but mostly they're dark. A place you could sprain both your elbow and chin. Do you dare stay out? Do you dare to go in? How much can you lose? How much can you win?
And if you go in, should you turn left or right in 3/4, or maybe not quite, or go around back and sneak in from behind? Simple as snore, I'm afraid you will find, for a mind make-upper to make up his mind.
You can get so confused that you'll start to race down wiggled roads at a breaknecking pace, and go on for miles across weirdish wild space, headed, I fear, towards the most useless place, the waiting place, for people just waiting for a train to go, or a bus to come, or a plane to go, or the mail to come, or the rain to go, or the phone to ring, or the snow to stow, or waiting around for a yes or no, or waiting for the hair to grow. Everyone is just waiting.
Waiting for the fish to bite, or waiting for wind to fly a kite, or waiting around for Friday night, or waiting perhaps for their Uncle Jake, or a pot to boil, or a better break, or a string of pearls, or a pair of pants, or a wig with curls, or another chance. Everyone is just waiting. No, that's not for you. Somehow you'll escape all that waiting and staying. You'll find the bright places where boom bands are playing.
With banner flip-flapping, once more you'll ride high, ready for anything under the sky, ready because you're that kind of guy. Oh, the places you'll go, there's fun to be done. There are points to be scored, there are games to be won. And the magical things you can do with the ball will make you the winningest winner of all. Fame, you'll be famous as famous can be, with the whole wide world watching you win on TV.
Except when they don't, because sometimes they won't. I'm afraid that sometimes you'll play lonely games too. Games you can't win, 'cause you'll play against you.
All alone. Whether you like it or not, alone will be something you'll be quite a lot. And when you're alone, there's a very good chance you'll meet things that scare you right out of your pants. There are some down the road between hither and yon that can scare you so much that you won't want to go on.
But on you will go, though the weather be foul. On you will go, though your enemies prowl. On you will go, through the hacking cracks howl. Onward up many a frightening creek, though your arms may get sore and your sneakers may leak.
On and on you will hike, and I know you'll hike far, and face up to your problems, whatever they are.
You'll get mixed up, of course, as you already know. You'll get mixed up with many strange birds as you go. So be sure when you step with care and great tact. And remember that life's a great balancing act. Just never forget to be dexterous and deft, and never mix up your right foot and your left.
And will you succeed? Yes, you will indeed. 98.75% guaranteed. Kid, you'll move mountains.
So, be your name Buxbaum or Bixby or Bray or Mordecai Alley von Allen O'Shea, you're off to great places. Today is your day. Your mountain is waiting, so get on your way.
Congratulations, class of 2020.
We want to thank you all for taking this time to celebrate the class of 2020's academic achievements and individual talents.
Have a great summer.
We hope to see you in August.